let's talk about what should be on our leaders list. And you brought this up to me before, and I think it's really, really smart just to think about business differently. So keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I
Sure.
wanted to just give some
So
context around that.
part of the reason we do so much barter is we already have the inventory out there, right? And if it's digital, that's push a button easy. If it's print, we treat our print like a publication. So once a month, our guys go out in Minneapolis, and I've got about 250 of our 500 restaurants are print, which means we've got to print these horizontal type ads. Actually, they look like this on a board, for instance. Kind of
Okay.
bad picture, but then they got to go out and do those runs. So we're putting that together, and I'm going to pause a second because I got
Sure.
to have. Could you start that over again? I actually just lost track. I
Totally,
apologize.
no problem. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to, I'm just going to introduce this
I
segment
like
where
the question. I lost track because I was telling too much stuff. Yes.
I get it. I get it. Okay. So Tony, it's super interesting that you've already started giving us some things that our listeners can think about as they're growing and scaling their companies. But what are some other things that we should put on our leaders list?
Sure. So let's talk about barter. So I always use this example. I said, "Have you flown lately?" And a lot of people say, "Sure, I flew last week." Okay. Was there any empty seats? And if they say 2 or 3 empty seats, I say, guess what? As soon as that door closes, that's lost revenue. So
Yeah.
I view that as lost revenue at the start of every month. So that's why we've incorporated barter into our programs for corporate and our franchisees. Because if you're signing up a customer and you can double their program by throwing in gift cards or throwing in a barter or something like that, we're sort of in the entertainment business because we use that barter then and we
Ooh.
back channel it back to our venue partners. Sometimes as part of compensation, we package them into deals. And in fact, my pitch when I sell a franchise to any given person would be, if you do this right, when you're said and done, you should never have to pay for an haircut, a tea time, an oil change, or a car wash again. It's a lifestyle business, but I've done this for 39 years. If barter wasn't in this mix, 100% I would not be doing this because it's that shiny quarter part of this business that makes it a little different every day. And I could probably write a book on all the crazy things we've bartered over the years.
I think but I think that's so interesting to just recognize that every company has assets. And if the assets go unused, it is a waste. It's classic
Yeah.
load management or demand side management, whatever you want to call it. So I love the fact that you've looked at that and recognized like payment comes in multiple ways. Certainly you prefer the check, but like you
Yes.
said, how do you start to become part of a community and connect? And I think anybody who has worked in advertising on a regional or local level understands this, that that media is a good relationship tool. But I think that's applicable for a lot of businesses. It's just recognizing your assets, recognizing that when they go unused, it is a waste. And there's other ways to be able to benefit the business. So I thought that was really smart.
And furthermore, with that, we're in a unique situation that my print cost is relatively inexpensive, and I already have the fixed cost of the guy going out every month, right? So that lends to barter, but it also lends to tons of charities and bonuses and things like that. So I'll oftentimes, with larger customers, I'll sprinkle in, and let's say a customer signs a deal with me for $3,000 a month for a year. It would be 100% normal for me to say, hey, by the way, what's your favorite charity? And they might say United Way. And I'd say, would you object if I call United Way in Minnesota and say, I'm going to run an $18,000 ad program for you, sponsored by customer X? And they'd be like, what does that cost? I'm like, it's absolutely free. It's just my thank you that you're a customer of mine. I have some extra space. I'll turn that into now. I've had some customers that have literally said they like that part better than they like the media space in some cases because the feel
Wow.
good part of sponsoring something like a charity is really good for the community, and they appreciated that. So we are also. I use my space for barter. I use it for a ton of bonus ads. We don't have a customer on our boards that we don't over deliver. And that's 100% meaning that no matter what you buy, you're going to get extra all the time. That's part of our mantra. And we do a ton of charity. We also bring in, like when Chuck Norris died, all our boards have a tribute ad, Hulk Hogan, etc. So we bring in random non political content. We don't want to get divisive, things like that. But we'll
Mhm.
bring in dad jokes. We'll bring in tribute ads, things like that. But we want to make these boards, I won't say entertaining, but definitely where you keep reading them while you're there.